Some killers escaped police for years. Some crossed state lines, changed identities, manipulated investigators, blended into normal life so perfectly, people trusted them. And yet almost all of them eventually got caught because of one mistake. Not DNA, not fingerprints, not advanced technology. Something much more human. And once you notice it, you start seeing the same pattern everywhere. Ted Bundy had it. Jeffrey Dahmer had it. Dennis Rader had it. Even the smartest predators eventually slipped because they couldn't stop themselves from doing one thing. And the terrifying part is, they usually knew it was dangerous, but they did it anyway, because they needed to. Ted Bundy looked like the kind of man people instinctively trusted. Educated, calm, charismatic. He studied psychology, worked on political campaigns, even volunteered at a suicide hotline, which is horrifying when you realize what he was hiding underneath all of that. For years, Bundy moved through different states committing murders while avoiding capture. Police departments struggled to connect the cases because communication between states was terrible back then. And Bundy understood that. He adapted. He changed locations, changed tactics. At one point, he escaped custody twice. Twice. You'd think someone that careful would never get caught. But then something started changing. He got sloppy. Not because he suddenly became less intelligent, because the longer he got away with it, the more invincible he felt. That's the pattern. And wait until you hear how obvious it became near the end. See, most people imagine serial killers as cold, calculating masterminds. But real investigations often reveal something stranger. Compulsion. These people aren't just hiding from police. They're fighting against themselves. And eventually, the psychological need becomes stronger than the survival instinct. That's when things fall apart. Bundy started taking bigger risks, returning to crime scenes, attacking in more reckless ways. At a Florida sorority house, he attacked multiple victims in one night. It was chaotic, fast, uncontrolled, nothing like the careful predator he had once been. And shortly after, he was pulled over by police while driving a stolen vehicle. Not during some massive cinematic manhunt, a traffic stop. One small mistake. But it wasn't really the traffic violation that caught him. It was the psychological unraveling happening underneath it. The ego, the overconfidence, the feeling that the rules no longer applied to him. And Bundy wasn't unique, not even close. Dennis Rader, the BTK killer, might be one of the clearest examples of this pattern, because for decades, he got away with it. Imagine that. Decades. He murdered multiple people while living what looked like an ordinary suburban life. Church leader, city employee, neighbor. Meanwhile, police had almost nothing. Cases went cold. Fear faded. Years passed. And then something strange happened. Rader got angry that people stopped talking about him. That's important, because this is where the hidden mistake starts revealing itself. A lot of these killers don't just want control. They want recognition, attention, validation, power over the public imagination. Rader missed the feeling of being feared, so he started contacting the media again, sending letters, taunting investigators, demanding attention. And then came the moment that sounds almost unreal. He asked police if a floppy disk could be traced. Police told him no. He believed them, and he mailed one in. The metadata on the disk led investigators directly to him, just like that, after surviving for decades. And when police arrested him, the thing that shocked many investigators wasn't just the evidence. It was how badly he wanted to talk. He described crimes in detail, wanted credit, wanted to relive the power. That need was stronger than caution, stronger than survival. And once you see that, the entire psychology changes. Because this wasn't just about murder anymore. It was addiction. But Jeffrey Dahmer might be the most disturbing example of all. Because Dahmer wasn't caught due to forensic genius either. He was caught because one victim escaped. That's it. One moment. One crack in the routine. And the details surrounding it are terrifying. Dahmer had spent years creating a controlled system inside his apartment. A horrifying routine. Lure victims, drug them, keep everything contained. And routines are powerful because they create confidence. The human brain starts believing, this works. I know what I'm doing. I'm safe. But routines also create blindness. People stop noticing risk. And Dahmer became comfortable. Too comfortable. One victim, Tracy Edwards, managed to escape the apartment while partially restrained and flagged down police officers outside. At first, the officers didn't fully understand what they were walking into. But when they entered Dahmer's apartment, everything collapsed. Photos, evidence, human remains. The illusion shattered instantly. And here's the disturbing part. Dahmer later admitted he knew his behavior was escalating. He knew he was losing control. But he couldn't stop. That's the thing nobody tells you about predators like this. Their greatest weakness often isn't evidence. It's momentum. The longer they succeed, the more psychologically dependent they become on continuing. And eventually, that dependency creates recklessness. But here's where this gets even stranger. Because this pattern doesn't only exist in serial killers. It exists in humans in general. Success changes behavior. People start believing they're untouchable. They ignore small risks. They stop respecting consequences. Athletes, CEOs, scammers, cult leaders, even ordinary people do this. You've probably done a smaller version yourself, driving while distracted because nothing bad happened the first few times, ignoring warning signs in a relationship, believing your habits can't hurt you because they haven't yet. The human brain confuses survival with invincibility, and that illusion is incredibly dangerous. But serial killers expose this principle in its most extreme form, because the thing that ultimately betrays them usually isn't technology. It's ego colliding with compulsion. Ted Bundy thought he was smarter than everyone around him. Dennis Rader needed attention so badly, he trusted police advice about digital evidence. Jeffrey Dahmer became trapped inside routines that made him feel safe. Different personalities, different crimes, same psychological collapse. And once investigators understand that pattern, the hunt changes completely. Because they stop asking, how do we catch someone perfect? And start asking, when will they stop being careful? That's the real mistake. Not one single action, not one single clue, but the slow transformation that happens when someone believes they've escaped consequences for too long. The ego grows. The caution fades. The need intensifies. Until eventually, they expose themselves. Sometimes through arrogance. Sometimes through routine. Sometimes because deep down, part of them wants recognition more than freedom. And honestly, that might be the most disturbing part of all, because it means the thing that destroys them was inside them from the beginning.